Okay, this is my presentation of chapters 1 through 7 for Computer Literacy 101 by Alex Szymanski. So in chapter 1, one of the main objectives that I had put down for this chapter was, what is a computer and how has our society today become so reliant on technology in our personal and professional lives? Because whether or not you choose to believe it, technology does have an effect on us every single day almost when it comes to your phone, laptop, computer, cell phone, anything of that sort. We interact with it on a daily basis. And so you have your digital literacy, which is just your current knowledge and understanding of computers and what they can do and how to use the web and all that. And it does play a vital role in our lives, which makes us what they would like to call digital citizens. And just a brief overview of computers. Computers are electronic devices that perform tasks under the instructions given by the user and carries them out with physical and non-physical components. And a little backstory that I thought was cool, the evolutions of computers. The first built computers used vacuum tubes actually, which I always found pretty interesting. And then how we use them in our everyday lives. We use computers virtually in anything, business, how we handle relationships with our friends. Even people with disabilities have a lot of benefits to technology with visual impairment and hearing impairment. And the ability to use audiobooks and organizers and all that has definitely deepened our ability to learn and our speed at learning. And for chapter 2, I had what the internet and the web are and how they are used in our lives. And the internet and the web pretty much go hand in hand because the web is contained on the internet. And a web page, it can be opened through a browser, anything like Google Chrome, Google, Microsoft Edge. Any of those open up any web pages that you need to. And they all use a unique URL to get you to the web page that you're looking to get to. The web has grown tremendously throughout the years, causing there obviously to be some regulations put on them, such as net neutrality, which states that any internet service provider, AT&T, Xfinity, they're not allowed to discriminate and have one website perform better than the other, vice versa. And there's also restrictions for content creators like Creative Commons that allow their content to be unique and not have it stolen. And you're allowed to perform almost any task on the web, anything media sharing, YouTube and TikTok, any social networks such as X and Facebook, and it can be used for a lot more, your travel, your banking, your e-commerce, virtually anything. So on to chapter 3, we have that you should understand hardware and processors and how they work inside of a computer, just the basics, and also understanding your input devices and your output devices. With your input devices being anything like a mouse, keyboard, touchscreen, anything that you're going to use to put something onto your computer, like you're typing a document, for example. And output devices are what you're seeing, what you're hearing from your computer. Your sound system, your monitors, any printers that you're getting physical documents from. And I have a little bit on the binary system here. That computers use binary systems, which are composed of zeros and ones, with 0 meaning that there is no electrical charge present, and a 1 meaning that there is an electrical charge present. A bit means that there is a single binary digit, and a byte is composed of 8 bits. And you have your encoding schemes such as ASC2, which is an 8-bit basic English character coding, and then Unicode, which is 16-bit and supports global languages. On to chapter 4, we have that we need to examine the different types of operating systems and how they work, and also how to learn and manage and interact with the files and folders within your computer. Your user interface, which in layman's terms it's a GUI, is the most common interface and controls every single way you interact with your device. And just a little bit I like to add on file protection, you should always have regular backups, and it's never a bad thing to use cloud storage, especially for making sure your files don't get lost or corrupted down the line. And then on to folder and file organization. These are properties that can either be set by you, the user, or the operating system. Your file name, the location, the date, the size, everything like that is controlled by you in order for you to organize it as best as you can. And folders, aiding with that, allow you to create a unique location to put your files in. Usually you should have them reflect the purpose or the content that's within that folder, and they can always be moved, copied, deleted, whatever you need to do with them. And for Chapter 5, my main objective was understanding what apps are and how they are used in our lives. Apps are programs that are on computers, your mobile device, anything you can think of, that are meant to perform a specific task. You go on an app for a specific thing at a specific time. And you have a whole bunch of different types of apps, like a native app being built for a specific operating system. You have your mobile apps, which are optimized for mobile use and are a lot easier to use on your cell phone or anything like that as opposed to a computer. And you have your web apps, which are the opposite actually, and they're stored on the internet server and you run in them from your browser. A lot of browsers now, I use Microsoft Edge personally, there's 365 on there that has all their web apps. And then you have a portable app, which can also be ran from a USB or any external drive. Some brief benefits would be that mobile apps are controlled by touch, on-screen keyboards. Productivity apps are used for personal use, anything that has a productive purpose, your spreadsheets, Excel, emails. And you also have word processing apps, which are good for making documents, reports, flyers. And for Chapter 6, that was about cybersecurity and how cybersecurity attacks work. Personally, I found this pretty interesting. I've always known of like some of the attacks and like cyber attacks and whatnot, but I just found it cool to actually make a name for them and all that. And I've found that cybersecurity is the processes and technologies that are used to protect your device and networks from any hackers, any malware, anything like that. And I just have a little bit about malware attacks, which a lot of the common used ones are keylogger, which pretty much just records your keystrokes to be able to determine your passwords or any other personal information. And then you have the Trojan, like the Trojan horse, which is just malware that pretends to be a program performing another activity. Like you log onto your bank app or your bank website, you hit a wrong button or something when you were searching it up, it takes you to a fraudulent site and it can steal your information. And you have a virus, which is one of the most common ones, which is a program that copies itself into other programs. And you also have social engineering attacks, which would be anything like phishing. Phishing's a really common one, where they attempt to fool the victim into giving them personal information. I've seen a lot of them about like jobs. They'll post like a job opportunity and they want you to put in a bunch of information when the credible source from it is not real. And for Chapter 7, I had that you should understand your digital media technology and how to create it. In digital media, you have your speech, which synthesized speech converts your text into speech actually, and is used in a lot of business and assistive technology. And you have your video recording, which would be your cameras, your smartphone, webcam, anything to record yourself. And a lot of the time that's used in business ways, used for conferences, almost anything. A little more about it, I just have that video editing. You can cut, rearrange, make adjustments, music production, or just apps that allow you to record, mix, master, and preventing others from stealing what you create. Thank you very much for listening.